Dun, 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 dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun,
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 dun.
dun.
Man, why does that? It just hits so hard.
Ah, it's so good.
All
Always
right.
good.
Well, welcome to the Super Earth podcast. This is a Helldivers 2 podcast. Coming back to you with this is DB, and I got my co-host Snuff and Bacon. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty well.
Doing all right.
Awesome. What's it been like in Helldivers recently? What you guys been up to?
Super
Snuff?
hell diving. It's pretty easy. I'm just sitting here playing the game, doing my thing.
Well, actually, Snuff, you went to Sweden recently, right? How was your trip?
It was pretty good. I partied a little bit, got blackout drunk.
You didn't get to go
Yeah.
talk to the Arrowhead guys while you were over there.
No, not this time. Maybe next time. I have to send him a mail and get something set up, hopefully.
This weekend was my first wedding anniversary, actually. So we traveled to Tennessee.
Very nice.
And-
Congratulations.
Thank you. But it was funny because, like, everybody was, Tennessee. That part of Tennessee has like very strong accent. And so my wife the whole time, whenever she talked to anybody we didn't know, she would talk like this, y'all. But
Well, howdy.
but Snuff, do you have an American accent? Can you try one or try a Southern accent?
Howdy, partner.
It's not bad.
It ain't that bad. It's better when I have my tobacco because I can put it down in my bottom lip. Then I get real southern right real quick.
Can you say, have a nice cup of liberty?
Have a nice cup of liberty.
It's so good.
Yeah. So no, we talking about Helldivers. We actually, I said on the last episode I hadn't really tried level 10. I think we had done it for Illuminant and maybe automatons. But today Snuff and I we started playing level 10 bugs. The first time I got to try level 10 on the bugs.
Very nice.
Also got a little bit of level 10 bots on the minefields right before this.
Yeah.
Very
Oh my
effective.
gosh.
It just
Very
makes
effective.
Snuff even better at team killing. So if you thought he was good at it before, you got another thing
Oh,
coming. Yeah, we were
Nothing
playing
to worry about.
level 10 and I think I died 4 or 5 times and not a single time was to a bug.
Tends to be how it is.
Yeah, someone gotta make it hard.
Snuff and I were playing on, I think it was Saturday, or Sunday morning, and playing with 2 other people. Level 7, nothing too difficult, mostly just getting samples. But we completed all the objectives, made it to the drop site, and then we were just working on the major order. And oh my gosh, how many times had I been launched off of the site, landed on a bomb, and then just exploded? I think it had to have been at least 5 or 6 times. It was insane.
Yeah, it was a couple of times. You were doing fine though.
Yeah, it was fun.
You're not used to level 10 and not used to that used to playing with me yet. So I was
I'll get
kind of
there.
expecting it.
Now, is it me with like rose-tinted glasses, or was Helldivers even more fun when you had like no idea what you were doing? It was like chaos all over, and it was like everything you ran into was a new thing you've never seen before.
I mean, kinda. You always kind of miss the first time you jump into a new game or a new experience in real life. It doesn't matter really, but you always kind of strive to get that feeling again. And it's hard to get that, but that's why I hope to keep shadow dropping new enemies like they have done in the past. Like when the Factory Strider was introduced, they didn't say anything. It was just suddenly starting to pop up
Oh
very
my
rarely
God. Yeah.
during the matches. I just really hope to keep doing that so we can
That'd be really nice.
keep experiencing it no matter how much you play the game.
Yeah, it's so cool when stuff like that happens, when it just kind of happens like naturally and like, cause the patch notes, yeah, that's cool and it keeps your like viewer base and player base like up to date on what you're doing. But when like there's like hidden rumors about, dude, I heard some dude fought this like giant, robot in 1880. It's so cool. It adds like mystery to the game.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like you hear rumors that someone saw this and that. Someone said, like when, like the automaton cities are there. They are there. They're very rare, but they are there.
Automaton cities?
Yes, they are there. They're in the game.
Wait. So like the Illuminate cities,
Mhm.
or
Like you
but
saw on Orphori Prime with the bugs in the gloom. You have the cities. They are there.
but with
They're-
bots.
Yes, but they are very
Oh.
rare.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I think I thought that you were talking about something else, like a place where like.
I don't know. I'm talking about human cities on bot planets.
Dang.
So it's most likely there for testing purposes to see if the game engine can handle it with bots, because bots are a little bit more demanding on GPUs.
Now, question:
Yeah.
were cities always with the Terminids, or did cities get added with Illuminate? Because I don't remember ever fighting in cities until the Illuminate.
Yeah, cities got added when the Illuminus was introduced, like the same day, and then there were no cities on bot side and no cities on bug side, and then suddenly on bot side it started popping up on very specific planets. I don't remember the names of those planets right now, and it was on level 3 on one it was demolished the ammo storage for the automatons on level 3 on 2 specific planets, and it was still very, very rare to find them. And then Pori Prime opened up in the gloom, and then they had cities there. So the
Wow.
bug side technically has cities now, but they are locked in the gloom for now.
Yeah.
It will probably pop up more and more as we go. And same on bot side, but we'll probably have to wait a little bit more on bot side because of graphic testing. Because when you go to higher levels, there's so much graphics happening at once that they have to test it a lot to kind of optimize everything so everything works smoothly.
That kind of makes sense why like it would only be on like foggy planets for the bugs, because your graphics engine can only handle so many elements at the same time.
Yeah. But that's for now. We'll probably see more cities on every planet eventually.
That's so cool when like stuff like that happens. Like you just see a couple bug cities here and there, and it
and that's like another reason for them to keep shadow adding things, because they can secretly also test things before they're actually introduced properly to the game.
Well, do you guys have any stories of like your shenanigans, like from when you like first started playing, like when stuff was like new? Was there anything like you didn't know how it worked, and so you kept doing some stupid things? Because I have a good story.
I mean, I think we all do probably. Like the first time I played Helldivers, I just dropped in solo, and I had no clue what to do. No matter what, so I flunked that mission totally. I didn't know how to do the computers. I didn't know how to use the map. I didn't look up the controls before I started playing it, so I just started.
Do you happen to remember like were you playing automatons? Do you remember what difficulty it was?
Oh. I mean, the first mission is obviously level 1, because you have to start on level 1 and work up. But it was automatons. I started right in the bots because fuck the Terminators.
Because when I started, I remember, like I said before, I had started the game watching like TikToks of the automatons, and so I was like ready to fight some bots. But I did quick play as my first game, and I remember jumping in, and it must have been difficulty 8, and I was getting my ass kicked. Yeah, but luckily, like I had landed because they had whoever I was playing with had like thrown down an SOS beacon, and I think that I was more of a hindrance than I was help, because these guys like knew what they were doing, and I just didn't. I had no idea what was going on.
That's kind of what happened to me on my first one. I soloed my first one, level 1, and I'm like, okay, that was nice. I enjoyed that. I don't want to be by myself now. Let me go join someone else. Join them. They're doing like a level 3, and then we complete the 3 missions or 2 missions, however many it was. Then they're like, "All right, let's jump to a level 8." I cried. It was awful.
Well, and like early, really early on, I remember you guys. Have you played with that ballistic shield, or was it's like like a physical shield you can use, right?
I mean, do
Yeah.
you even have to ask?
Well, like I've never actually used it in a game. I've never like used it. I've unlocked it, but I've never like, oh, let's bring. I've never needed to.
Axe and shield, baby.
Well, maybe this week we can play some games where we do the shield.
Yeah, hell
Wait,
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember really early on, I had joined, a random game with randoms, and I didn't know how like everything worked, the stratagems or whatever. And so I guess one of my buddies that I was playing with, one of the Helldivers had died, and I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know it was something you called in, so I just saw a ballistic shield on the ground. I'm like, cool, let me try this out. And all of a sudden, a teammate punches me in the back. And I roll over like head over heels, and I lose the shield, and he picks up the shield, and he sprints away from me, and I like chase him down, and I hit him back, and I ended up. It's amazing that the guy didn't shoot me, because knowing what I know now, I would have just killed me. If I was him, I would have just shot me. Like, you're not taking my shield. But I probably played 10, 15 minutes with another dude's shield, and he didn't kill me for it.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Well, cool. Well, hey, so maybe we should acknowledge like about like the voting and everything. Why don't you?
Yes.
Let's do this. Snuff, go ahead and explain what the Super Earth podcast is, who started it, and then what happened and what this episode is.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you to everyone. That is like it's insane. We got 50% of the people in the server voted for us, guys. It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
It is absolutely wild. So absolutely a deep, sincere thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And a good fight from everyone
guys.
else. And I hope to see everyone else that was in there join us on the podcast at some point. Would love to have you on here as well.
Oh yeah.
And the Super Earth podcast was started about a year ago. This is gonna be a few days later from a year, but yeah, about a year ago by Mike and Lido, who was the original host for this podcast. So they finished season 1 a month or 2 ago ish, and they chose to retire basically. They're not gone, they're still here with us. They're just stepping down from being the main hosts for now, at least. So they started a little audition competition for the new host who can take over the podcast, and 4 groups submitted for one episode each. And then the Discord community for this podcast had to vote on which episode they liked the best, or which host they liked the best. It's easier to say. And yeah, here we are. This is kind of the start of season 2. It's really weird to sit here and be the main host for a podcast. Yeah. But yeah, sincere thank yous, and I hope I see you guys soon, Mike and Lido.
Yeah, and Bacon, you have any thoughts?
No, just same thing that Snuff was saying. Deep, sincere thank you for everyone who voted, for taking part in democracy and joining in on what we're about. We'll be sure to take any feedback that you guys have, that topics you want to hear, any top 5s you want to hear, and suggestions for any challenges you guys have in mind.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I'll say the same thing as, obviously thank you. Like, this is an awesome experience, an awesome opportunity that we get to do. And I will say, all the other dudes who submitted are totally competent, totally could absolutely do the same job, and I would love to have all of those guys at some point, like either do a little kind of co-host thing where if one of us isn't available, it's like we can sub people in, or I'm cool to have, if it's three of us, I'm cool to have somebody else, like up to 4 people at a time. If Mike and Lita want to come on at the same time, I'm cool with 5. But
Yep.
yeah, any of the dudes submitted, go ahead, like let us know your availability, we'll throw you in on an episode. And anybody else in the Discord, one of the things that I really enjoy about the podcast is the Discord and the community in the Discord. And so I'm gonna make an effort to be in there more and play. And so if you guys want to play a game, and if you want to play Helldivers 2 and you don't have anybody to play with, jump into the Discord. Use the looking for group channel and ping everybody. And most of the time, Snuff is on there. So most of the time, if I want to play, Snuff's there to play with me.
Please join me, guys. My ship is always open for anyone who wants to join. You might have a rough time, but I'll help you out. You're always welcome, no matter who you are. Just jump on in.
Yeah.
I'm almost there every day.
And I kind of want to ask you both individually, how did you envision the podcast to begin with? When you first started listening, what did it mean to you? How did you view it, and how do you view it continuing going forward? And if you want, I can start.
The podcast to me going forward, or listening to it for the first time, I'll go into it more, but it was kind of about any updates, stuff that was going on, the lore about Helldivers 2, and just their genuine interest in the game. Seeing that and hearing it episode after episode, it was igniting a fire in me to go play. And so going forward, that's kind of what I want to keep going with, is being excited about Helldivers 2, talking about the updates, talking about different stratagems and armors and tools to use to keep me engaged, keep me going forward. And yeah, I think that's...
Yeah, for me, kind of similarly, I saw it as a way where I would be online on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and I would like search Helldivers because like, oh dude, I have a passion for this. Like when I really start to like something, like I get a little bit obsessed. And so like when I'm working, I can't really watch TikToks about Helldivers. So what's the next best thing? Well, let's listen to somebody talk about it for 2 hours. And so I found Mike and Lito, and it hit that sweet spot. And so that's kind of what I envision too. It's what I bring to the table. It's like I want people to be able to put the podcast on, go to work, drive, whatever they're doing, and be able to listen to somebody talk about Helldivers. Maybe it influences them to go boot up the game when they get home and play it. Maybe it influences them to get on Discord and play it with some friends. What about you, Snuff?
Yeah, how did I find the podcast? I think I did the same, just searched up Helldivers, and that popped up, and I listened to a couple of episodes, and like they had the part where they talk about the game and all that, but they had the extra parts, the stories, they had the ship names.
Ship
Ship names. But yeah, they had like the little extra, to keep the community more engaged with the podcast itself, and that's kind of what just kept me listening to the podcast, and here we are now. So
cool. So to suffice, I will say, to summarize, thank you everybody for your votes, and
thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Yeah, and I hope we can live up to it, and I hope we, entertain you guys and you can enjoy the stuff that we put out. And our hope is to kind of grow the Discord, grow the channel, and grow whatever other, formats or media that it entails. We hope to do more with it too.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely had an idea while we were in the voting phase to voice over the Helldivers 2 intro and be like, make what does he say? It's like, prove that you have the strength and the courage to be free. Vote for your next podcast host. I don't know. I didn't do it though, but I think next time I'll do it. Yeah.
Well, we're playing this game, playing it a lot way back when it came out, and playing it now. There's a lot of stuff that they added, man. It's like and it was kind of like what you're saying. I'm glad that they keep adding stuff, but there's stuff I've never seen. Like you and I were playing level 10 automatons, and then all of a sudden I see like this skull on the mini map, and I'm like, what is that? And I like run over to it, and it's this robot skull, dude, and I pick it up, and now I've got like a robot skull in one hand and my pistol in the other. Dude, Snuff, what is this thing? Tell us what it is.
So that's like the head of an automaton is called confidential data, and the short version is that it's samples basically. So you bring that piece back to the Pelican and try to get that back up with you to the ship. You get rewarded some super samples and some rare samples for it. It's basically for research for Super Earth, I would say. It's like the extra little bonus you get for managing to take out the fortress or the mega nest on bug side, because the bugs have the egg. So that's the same version for the bugs, kind of.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, all mega nests have an egg in them.
Okay. But it's still called confidential data?
I think that one is just called egg.
It's just called egg?
I think so. I don't remember. I think it's actually just called egg. At least that's what we called it. At least I never look at the names. You just call it egg. It's an egg. It's egg shaped. It's egg. But yeah, it's like a little bonus you get for actually doing those harder parts of the level 10 missions.
Yeah, that was cool. Yo, and they also added, at least since the last time like I really was playing consistently, they added like full supply lines on the global map. Can you tell me kind of like what that is? Has it helped at all?
I mean, for newer players, I do believe it. I mean, it should help at least, but a lot of people still don't understand how they work, even though Arrowhead and Joel has literally put out like dispatches in game telling you exactly how it works. People still don't understand.
Definitely not me. I know what it is.
But in the short term, it's like it shows. So FTL is faster than light travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And to travel in a straight line to a planet, you have to know that path to that planet is completely clear of debris. Because imagine if you travel faster than light and hit an asteroid on the way there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll explode no matter what you are. So basically, the shows the safe paths they can fly between different planets. So and the automatons and the bugs and the Luminous also have to do the same thing. They have to go through the safe paths. So it shows you where automatons can attack you from, for example, or where you can attack their planet from. Well, not their planet. All the planets are ours for Super Earth. They're all ours. But yeah, it shows you basically where you can be attacked from and where you can go to attack. That is basically what they do.
So if there's a planet that's fully automaton and then you know that they're about to, for instance, take over our...
So let's say you have one planet that is automaton, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all the lines from that planet are red. That means you cannot travel to that planet because all the lines are occupied by all the planets that connects to those lines are also occupied by automatons. So that means you have to capture those planets first, and then you can go to that planet. Because you need a free supply line that is kind of owned by Super Earth, that they have full control over. So that's the short version of it, I would say.
Cool.
Yeah, I think you explained that really well. And that's cool that it's got added. Like, I think it adds so much like transparency to it. Like and you're right, they were talking about it before. but like I remember people talking about like, yeah, you should put the supply lines in the game so people can actually have a visual representation of what it looks like.
Yeah, and then they did, and then people still were confused. And they also have so if you look on the planets, they have enemy presence percentage. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it tells you the higher percentage is, the more enemies there are on that planet. So if we get to Cyberstan again in any time in the near future, the enemy presence there will probably be very, very high.
What
So
like what do you mean high? Like what number is high? What number is low?
so low is 1%, if I remember correctly, and 1.5 to 2.5% is average, and then 3% is high, and then about 3.5% is very high. It's very rare that we see those numbers over 3%, so I don't remember all of those. So the highest one now is Court Bay on the Automedon side, which is high enemy presence, and that is 3%. But you also have, like, if enemies are attacking a planet, you have invasion level. And then again, the higher the level there, the more enemies are attacking that planet. But invasion levels are only when you have to like defend a planet, when they're literally attacking the planet. Not when they're occupying it, but when they're attacking it. Then you have invasion level.
Have you noticed in any of those numbers like really adding a significant difference when you're actually playing?
Yeah, it makes a big difference. It absolutely does. And that is why you usually see me on the planets with the highest percentage.
Yeah, because you think everything's easy.
I wouldn't say everything is easy.
Let's bump that difficulty up.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see higher difficulties very soon. The game has been out for a year, and as I talked a little bit on last episode, the weapon balance itself is very good, but the enemy balance compared to the weapons is not that good, because we're so overpowered right now. We're just fun for the people who want god power fantasy dream, but for us who wants to like actually experience the warfare of the game and the tactical things you have to do to actually do things like these, it gets a little bit repetitive when you can just one-shot everything. You know, for the last week now, I have basically just been running mines only loadout and finishing missions with that pretty easily. I don't have any stratagem weapon. I don't have any anti-tank. The only anti-tank I have is the anti-tank mines, and yet I clear the whole map. So they need higher difficulties for enemies, or way higher presence. I guess we can move over to that kind of from the MO that, not the one that is going on currently, but the one they had for the feeble young adults and the gas mines.
And when you say MO, you mean major order?
Yes, that is major order.
Now, really quick, for somebody who's never heard of Helldivers, what's a major order, and what does it do in the game, and like how does it work?
So a major order is an issued mission by Super Earth's High Command, and it varies what it is, but it is a task that Super Earth wants you to fulfill. Either hold a planet until the MO is over, like the timer runs out, so you don't lose the planet, or you have to capture certain planets, or you have to kill certain amount of bots or bugs or illuminates. So if our objective is holding a planet, the planet belongs to Super Earth at that moment, and then we have to defend it from attacking enemies. So if you're on any side, really, they will attack from the neighbor planet, the good old neighborhood.
Gotcha. So to basically defend a planet from being taken over by an enemy, you have to have enough fighting percentage going up higher than they are taking it away.
Yes, I mean, both for defending and liberating planets is kind of that. You need to make a higher liberation percentage than enemy attacking.
Okay.
Now, is that percentage like percentage of the total players, or is it just a percentage that's calculated with like that planet itself?
It is calculated by both, from what I've understood. Because, as I said, the more players that are online, the lower the amount of percentage per person is counted for. So if there's 100,000 people on, there needs to be more players on that planet than it would have to be if there was 10,000 people online. And have been multiple times where we have done the gambit and actually managed to take over a planet, even though the odds were very much stacked up against us. Because the further you get into, you have like a little bar on the planets now, so you can see what the enemy bar is on and what the Helldivers bar is on. So the higher you get your bar, the less enemy presence will be there. So the faster you get that up, the faster enemy presence will go down, and you can liberate even faster.
Okay, and then speaking of, you said there is a major order right now. You were talking about the current major order, or MO.
Yeah, the current major order is to kill 1 billion bots, I believe, and 1.5 billion bugs, if I remember correctly. And it's also 6 million shredder tanks and 8 million battle titans, I believe.
How many have you killed, Bacon?
Half of one. I think I took out the legs.
I mean, there's more than none.
I helped. I'm doing my part.
You're doing your part. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
And yeah, that's the MO right now, as I remember right now.
All right, so for this one, we chose to do top 5 planets. So yeah, we'll go with the planet, and then we'll go give a little basic info on it, like is it automaton, is it terminid, is it whatever, and yeah, and then tell us why it's your number 5 or whatever number it is.
Can stay with that. I can start then, which is number 5 is Super Earth.
Number 5. Number 5. I think we need to have a sacrifice.
Yeah, I think so.
Why is Super Earth number 5?
Because Super Earth is great.
Oh,
but number 5.
I thought by default it was everybody's number 1, so I didn't have it on my list.
Yeah, no,
it's like Jeff.
I
thought it was like the Jeff Steitzer. It's obviously number 1. No questions asked. Don't ask questions.
Don't worry, you'll understand by the end.
Okay. Well,
wait, before we get to that, do you think we'll ever fight on Super Earth?
I do believe we're gonna see a fight on Super Earth within this year. I do think
that's gonna be crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my family back on Super Earth, defending them. Oh my gosh. So my number 5 is a planet called Gaycrux. It's a Terminid planet, and the reason why it's my number 5 is because it was the first planet that I dived on. I believe.
I see.
First level 1 dive, I went to this one. I think it's because it was the major order at that point, but I went there and I'm like, I'm doing this. And then there was just forest, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm at.
I mean, I think it sounds kind of a little bit treasonous to like a bug planet more than Super Earth.
Well, number 5, okay. 5 is the lowest. Number 1 is the best. Number 1's number Super Earth. All right, DV. Let's carry on.
Funny enough, I don't know if we have any planets that are gonna be the same, but my reasoning for it is similar to yours. And my number 5 planet is Fact Bay, spelled with a PH and not an F. So Fact Bay. It is a terminid planet, and it's deserty and canyony. It has lots of canyons, and I kind of have I kind of have a similar reason because it's I don't remember if it was my first planet of fighting terminids, but it was one of the first, and especially when I was grinding up through the difficulties to get to Helldive, like I was going through a lot of bug stuff, and I just remember playing these like you would get into areas where you're fighting bugs, and you could kind of do that was the Leonidas 300 tactic of getting them into like a choke point and in between two cannons and setting down a turret and blowing through waves of bugs.
It is pretty fun.
That's awesome.
Slightly treasonous though.
Well, obviously, Super Earth was number 1, so I didn't think to include it in the list. It just was obvious, just like the Jeff Steitzer. Moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's Snuff always doing his own thing. It's typical.
Yeah, that's me, both in mission and in the podcast.
Speaking of which, what's your number 4?
Super Earth.
Oh! You dog.
I think you know where we're headed.
I think so too.
Well, if that's your number 4, I can't wait to hear your number 3.
Yeah,
just
wait, you guys. You're gonna love it.
It's gonna be insane.
You're really gonna love it.
All right, Snuff. Well, you have to give a reason why it's your number 4. So go ahead. What's your reason?
Because
What
Super
do you
Earth
love?
is great. What is it not to love about Super Earth? It's my home planet.
Our home.
It's our home planet. And the planet where managed democracy rose up from the ashes.
It's amazing.
Yeah. All right, I think we're moving on.
Well, my number 4 is Angel's Venture. It was the first planet to be, or not the first planet, but the first planet that was destroyed by a black hole. And when it got destroyed, I'm like, oh no, there's actually consequences to not completing an order. You could lose a whole planet. And then seeing the triangles on the map to Super Earth, it's like, we gotta get this done.
Yeah, do you know if that was a Terminid planet or an automaton planet?
I think if the Terminids did take it over, or the Terminids did expand, it would have been a Terminid planet, but I don't think it even got that chance.
Oh, okay. Wait, so who exploded it? The Illuminate?
Meridia. The Illuminate black hole just walked right through it, and it's now in pieces.
Oh.
Yeah, Merida just spurted out some legs and started taking a hike, and Angel's Venture was in the way, and it just kicked the baby.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so my number 4 is Vog Sagoth. And it's not... I do like that name. But
it's very catchy.
Yeah, and I didn't choose it because of the name. But it was an automaton planet, and it was a snowy... I don't remember if it had blizzards or whatever. But
it does. And you can make snowballs.
Nice.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
I chose this one.
Fights.
I chose this one for the aesthetic because fighting.
Oh yeah.
When you're a new Helldiver and the automatons are like, man, they seem so hard, and it's like, oh yeah, man, I'm ready to get it in right now. Fight some automatons.
Oh, yeah.
There's just nothing cooler than like blasts of laser flying over the top of your head as you're in the middle of like a blizzard, and you're fighting like level 9 Helldive automatons, and like all of a sudden like you can barely move because the blizzard kind of storms up really quick. And it's just the aesthetic is so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is a very good planet.
It's brutal, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
You're just like Snuff.
He's learning.
I don't think so, because we're about to hear his number 3.
Oh, I wonder what that could be. It's obviously Super Earth.
Wow, what an interesting choice. Why is it your number 3?
Well, It's great. It's the home of managed democracy. It's the home of the Helldivers.
Mm-hmm.
It is home of humanity.
Mm.
It's Super Earth.
You get a beautiful picture of it watching it for when you launch the game. It's just amazing.
Yeah. It's the logo for the podcast. It's the logo on the flag. It's the best. It's simply the best.
That's how he gets motivated for missions. He just looks at photos of Super Earth.
Yeah. Start drooling a little bit, and then I jump in.
What about you?
My
Cricket?
number 3 is Malevelon Creek, because that's the planet that got me into the podcast. I was talking to my coworker whose username is Demon Lord Dragon Wizard, and he got mad at me that I didn't say it last episode. But because it's a lot easier to say my coworker than Demon Lord Dragon.
Thank you for your
Wizard.
service.
Thank you for your service. He was talking to me about Malevelon Creek and the lore behind it and the fights that happened on it, and I'm like, wow, where did you hear about all of that? Like, I didn't know that there was that much lore in it. And he's like, oh, there's this podcast called Super Earth Podcast. It's led by Mike and Lito, and check it out. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I did, and then now I'm here.
Is he in the server?
He is. His username is Demon Lord Dragon Slayer.
Well, if he's your coworker, you need to go kick his ass and make him more active.
Well, I don't know. He does a lot of dives, but yeah, I'll tell him to be like, hey, drop a LFG and
get on
play
in
with
there.
people. Play with Snuff. Yeah, you'll have fun. I promise.
I promise. Everyone has fun with me.
Dying to your minds, maybe.
Dive into freedom.
All right, DB.
Oh, okay. This is fun. This is a fun one. And it's funny because I think if you would have made a list of top 5 worst planets, I think legitimately there's Helldivers who would say this is one of their top 5 worst planets. But it's my number 3, and it's Hellmire. And this is a terminid planet that I forget if I don't think it's desert. I think it's more like plains and fields. But it is known for a very special ecological trait. Is that the right word for it? Environmental trait.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has fire tornadoes.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
We like fire.
And so never forget, man, you're running from the Terminids, you're playing Helldive, and you're barely getting through, because this is back when the difficulties mattered. This is back when level 9 difficulty was difficult.
And also back then, the tornadoes, they were seeking after Helldivers. Like, they were following you.
Yes. And so you
now they just go random.
Yeah, you'd be running from a Bile Titan, you dodge a charger, you jump out of the way into a fire tornado.
Yeah.
You'd be dying 2 or 3 times a game into these things.
Yeah, they used to be like heat-seeking missiles, dude. Nowadays, they just go around randomly in a random pattern, but before, they really sought out to get you.
Yeah, so my reason is kind of similar as my number 4 reason. It's just like a brutal aesthetic. Like, it's so it's like when I imagine a good fight against some Terminids, it's like a bunch of Terminids, breaking the crust of the earth, and then popping out, and you got fire tornadoes here, you got mass hordes of bugs. So awesome planet, I think.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But can it compete to Snuff's number 2?
I mean, of course it can't, because I'm not into treason. And the best planet for number 2 is Super Earth.
Oh my goodness.
You want a reason?
I want a reason.
First of all, Super Earth is great. They make great weaponry for us. They make these beautiful spaceships for us. They can travel faster than light. They have capitalism. They have managed democracy. It's the birthplace of humanity. It's Super Earth.
What kind of food do you think they serve on Super Earth?
Super pizza.
Not calamari.
They got super pizzas, super hamburgers.
Yeah. Super burgers, super pizza, super spaghetti. Well, maybe not so much spaghetti anymore after so many people got spaghettified, but yeah.
That is a
super pasta.
As far as I know, that is an actual scientific term when you're talking about black holes.
It is. It is.
Is you get spaghettified? Isn't that brutal?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
you get stretched out so much you turn into spaghetti.
Yeah, on like a quantum level, like quarks are getting pulled apart.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's insane.
Pretty wild.
Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of spaghettification, what's your number 2? Bacon.
What? How is that related to spaghetti? Oh my gosh. Well, my number 2 is moon planets. I just love the look of them. The contrast between the one light versus just, I don't know, they just look really cool.
So
the end.
I mean, you don't need a more specific reason than that.
Yeah.
I'm more confused about a moon. A planet is a planet. A moon is a moon. A moon orbits a planet. So do you mean planets without an atmosphere?
Let me find one. One's called Cleo.
I think you're thinking about planets like Fenrir 3, for example, where he gets the asteroid showers, and it has a very moon-like surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the description of Fenrir 3, it says moon, a rocky, lonely moon with extremely valuable mineral deposits underneath the surface.
Oh, so it's just a moon.
Yeah.
Your number 2 planet is a moon. It's not a planet.
Well,
there's a lot of treason on these lists, I must say.
I gotta go.
You guys, we are so good at top 5 lists. I mean,
yeah, the best.
Oh my gosh. Well.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, my number 2, I think, is an actual planet, right? My number 2.
Oh my God,
it
is. My number 2 is 4E Prime.
And why is that?
So, well, first of all, let me tell you, it is a terminid planet, and it is one of those gloom cities. And again, it's for that aesthetic, man. It's like at some point I'll write a little poem or something about this, like a little short story. But like, just imagine like being in a city, you're like on a terminid planet, and you're like doing an objective, and then all of a sudden, out of the gloom, you see a bile titan just stumbling forward towards you, like the size of a 20-story building. So yeah, man, the aesthetic is brutal. It's Helldivers. It's awesome. It's mysterious.
That's crazy. I saw a clip of one terminating the planet. What words? Wow. I saw a clip of one where they're like shooting their gun, and it was an energy rifle. And as he shot, it illuminated the terminids in the gloom, and it was terrifying, but it was so cool. It was a very cinematic, very demure.
Very, very democratic.
Very democracy.
I think that's your new favorite quote.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we get to the point where we're the number ones. So
yeah,
we're gonna go with Snuff's number 1 planet.
Honestly, I think after so much treason, I want to hear you guys' number 1 first. So Bacon, you go.
Sure. Well, my number one planet is you, bro, because you are my world, bro. Without you, I'm just Meridia.
God.
Bro, we're just so good at this. We're so good.
Oh, I'm literally sitting here clapping. Oh my, that's beautiful. Oh, I almost shed a tear there. Oh, fucking hell.
All right. Well, my number one is actually Bacon's number 3. My number one is Malevelon Creek. You know, it had to get on the list. It literally just had to. There's no way. I don't think any of the other planets have as much notoriety as Malevelon Creek. I mean, I think they could if there was, but you know, Malevelon Creek was just this beautiful thing in the fan base. And I'll say, let me do this. It is a jungle planet, and it is automatons. And it has, you know, I think a big reason why it was so big on TikTok. I mean, somebody made a poem about it, and that blew up, and there's all this different things. But you know, it's like the Vietnam aesthetic. It's like people were going in at Helldive automatons. Automatons were a little bit newer at that point. I think the game was newer. There's mystery around it, and I mean, it was brutal, man. There is the poem that got so like viral. It was called "There Are No Old Divers at Malevelon Creek," and it was just, it was just beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Great
It's a
number
pretty
one.
planet. It is a pretty planet.
It is pretty.
But,
I don't think I've ever been there.
Oh, and I will say, I did on the last episode that we filmed. I did say that I didn't get to fight there. Well, later on in the automaton fight, after automatons came back, Malevelon was again invaded by the automatons. So I did get to run a couple missions on Malevelon Creek. But it was like way after the initial.
Yeah, you weren't part of the main
what prompted
wave.
everything.
Yeah, well, after I've been hearing so much treason for the last like 10 minutes or so, and my ears are bleeding.
Should
And
we guess
I
what your
think
number one is?
I simply need to just kick both of you out of the podcast and just do it alone from now on, I guess. From, you know, let the democracy officer enter in, because the obvious number one is Cyberstan. I'm just kidding. It's
Oh my
Super
gosh.
Earth. It's Super Earth. It is Super Earth, obviously, because Super Earth is the only planet that deserves to be on top 5. Everything else is way below. Everything else starts at like top 100, like below top 100 maybe.
I feel like Fort Justice could be there.
But Super Earth, that's the only thing I dream about.
All right.
Yeah, it's top 5 or top 15, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of went over it a little bit already earlier, so.
Like an update, a major
Game update. Well, here's what I'll say, because there were no recent like patches really. There was a recent patch we kind of covered on the last episode, but the most kind of like recent thing to happen itself was they paused the Galactic War. All right, so this is yeah. So this is what I got. This is an official thing that was posted in the Helldivers 2 Discord. It says, about those liberation rates. Today we updated our backend and we have encountered an error that is affecting planet liberation rates, causing them to skyrocket. While we know this is fun, we also know that this is breaking the Galactic War mechanic itself. In short, this is harming the game experience and will have detrimental effects on the war mechanic in the future. We have made the decision to pause the Galactic War temporarily until this is fixed. We're already starting the process, but we do not yet have an ETA for this fix. You will still be able to play Helldivers 2, but you cannot make any contributions to liberating planets or advancing the war. This is our mistake and we own it. We are not going to revert any of the damage done by this error, however. So your major order victory is still secure. We will keep you updated as soon as we have more information. As always, thank you for being patient and understanding, Helldivers. Now, there was an update a day later, and it is really funny. I've got a screenshot of it. It says, informational advisory. High Command would like to inform all personnel that nothing out of the ordinary has happened in the past 24 hours. The fight for managed democracy has continued in an inspiring but entirely expected manner. Personnel who believe they have experienced or witnessed any sort of anomalous occurrences may be suffering from Illuminate mind influence and should report themselves for psychological screening immediately.
Oh,
Which
that's amazing.
It is awesome. And I just got to say, like, more credit to the game developers. When we were explaining the major orders earlier, and it's like, wow, it's like an ongoing war that is going on 24 hours, and it's like immediately affected by the actions of the players. That in itself is a really cool mechanic, something we need to give, Super Earth, the Arrowhead, like, more credit for. But this type of, it's funny, you could put out, these game companies are always putting out words like this, like, hey, there's something that's happened, we've done this. But for them to be, like, so on brand with, like, Super Earth itself, like, it's just so good. It makes me like the game more. It makes me like Arrowhead more. They're doing it right, man.
Oh, yeah,
100%.
I agree.
Highly agree.
Is there anything, we did cover that major order where there's like a kill thing. We covered this where the Galactic War was kind of like paused.
Oh yeah, and also when it paused, it ended up giving us the reward for the MO for free. It kind of like canceled, because we had the opportunity to get the gambit for both planets. We had to choose between either capturing the planet that produces the gas mines, or the one that had feeble young adults on it. So we had the gambit going pretty well, and then the problems with the liberation rates started, so they had to pause the war. And when they paused the war, they also chose to give us both the rewards for free. Discussable if they should have done it. They could have just paused the MO, in my opinion. But basically we both saved the teens and got the gas mines. I love the gas mines, so I'm not that angry. I'm not that disappointed.
Your squad mates don't.
What is this treasonous talk here? Face the wall. Turn around, face the wall, listen for the bang.
Alrighty. So listener stories, we have one in from Darth Wrath 245. Thank you for your story. We will say that this story has been edited by the Ministry of Truth for democracy reasons. And here we go. Grab your popcorn, grab your drinks, sit back, relax, and yeah. Written by Darth Wrath 245. Ship name SES Song of War. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for
Call sign call sign redacted. Location redacted. Time redacted. God, was this planet awful. Sure, he'd gotten used to it, accustomed to the sweltering heat and the humid atmosphere. That still didn't make it any easier. These swamplands were only ever friends of the bugs. Shoot, they're everywhere. All around them now, as the Helldivers retreated to the Pelican that awaited them. They weren't going to make it. Not at this pace, and he knew that. He was carrying an injured cadet. They'd run out of stims mere moments ago, and a resupply was not coming. That meant no ammo. That meant no ammo either, which they were also scarce on as they limped the distance. Everywhere. The aggressive chortling and clicking of the bugs could be heard all around them as the Terminid stalkers, hunters, warriors, and God knew what else was after them. He could have sworn he felt the repetitive thump of a bile titan on the ground beneath him, and it was getting closer. He looked ahead. His commanding officer was emptying his heavy machine gun into anything that emerged from the bushes as he guided the 4 half-dead divers to safety. 200 yards. Roughly 200 yards of hell stood between them and the safety of the super destroyer. Crash! Oh no, the Bile Titan. He turned his head to see entire trees falling to the wayside and boulders being crushed as the acidic behemoth advanced. It was gaining on the divers, its horrid mouth leaking its putrid drool to the muddy ground. And that wasn't all. Multiple chargers and an impaler flanked it, with dozens of other bugs right behind. The diver looked ahead again, and he could see his captain's eyes widen from behind his mud and blood-stained goggles.
Faster, men! The devil is on our asses!
He urged. The cadet did his best to help the diver whose shoulders he had an arm slung over. Limping along faster, the diver knew they needed time. He had one thing that could buy it for them. They had cut the distance in half, and his sergeant ran out of ammo in his stalwart, resorting to finishing off the magazine in his penetrator as his captain emptied his machine gun into the Bile Titan's armored hide. It wasn't enough. The diver slung his Punisher over his free shoulder before grabbing his last stratagem sphere. He took in a long breath and punched in the code before he could change his mind. He threw it a couple of yards ahead of the group before bringing his shotgun up one-handed to nail an attacking hunter in the face, making its head disappear in a brilliant burst of green blood and gore. His captain turned to him as he saw the stratagem beacon and the weapon approaching from the atmosphere.
What are you doing, soldier?
He barked at the lower-ranked diver. He only smiled through his helmet and shrugged off the wounded cadet, passing the man to the captain.
Buying you time, sir. Go!
He screamed back as he grabbed the portable hell bomb.
What are you doing, Abe? Trying to be some big damn hero?
The sergeant yelled over the gunshots.
No, sir. Just trying to kill some bugs.
He responded as he turned his back to them. It was so much worse than he thought. There had to be hundreds of them. He couldn't even see the ground. They were all headed right for him. The other divers couldn't stop him, couldn't say anything to convince him not to do what he had planned. Telling him he had a family, a loving wife, and children back home, friends that were fighting the good fight by his side. Nothing would have worked. They just ran, closing the distance to the pelican that awaited them. He reloaded his Punisher with its last few remaining shells. He checked the machine gun on his back. Darn, the gun was jammed. He tossed it to the ground before facing the advanced horde, led by the Bile Titan. He slowly walked forward after activating the bomb on his back. It came to life, making a loud pinging that echoed like the opening of a gallows through his head. The sound meant death. It got faster as he emptied his shotgun, throwing it to the ground before drawing his senator. He was forced to dive forward, dodging a charger that attacked from his right. It was sent crashing into a tree instead, getting struck in the trunk and struggling as the pinging on his back grew faster and the humming of the Hellbomb's mechanism grew louder. The Bile Titan had made it within 20 feet. The Bile Titan had made it within 20 feet of him as he stood up. Far behind him, his allies watched as the pelican took off. They left the hatch open to see the brave diver outstretched his arms ahead of the beast that was about to take him, raising an ugly, serrated limb to strike him down. The diver let out one final battle cry.
Witness me, brothers.
His fellow divers could hear from their comms. Boom! The hell bomb blinded them, annihilating anything in the area as the ground shook in its wake. The captain waited a moment before looking at the mushroom cloud left behind. The Biotitan was gone, reduced to a large, blackened scorch mark, along with hundreds of other bugs. He smiled softly, wondering what recesses of his ally's mind that idea must have come from. The other two divers were holding back tears as they saluted, and the captain just pointed at the explosion site before softly saying,
Witness.
"The end."
That was a really good story.
Yeah, we have to
Yeah,
acknowledge that before we move on. That was so good.
Yeah, and also very fitting from the challenge I gave out last episode.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
just so well written, like
Oh yeah.
Really
God.
well written.
Yeah, thank you to Darth Wrath 245 for sending in that story and just connecting and making it really, really engaging. That was a really, really good story.
yes,
That
and
was
hit
very
us
good.
up anytime to fight on the SES Song of War. We'll fight with you, brother.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And thank you for your service.
And thank you for your
service.
That was
All
awesome.
right. Yeah.
I really
was.
liked you guys chiming in. That was really good.
I didn't know we were gonna do it, so I just where the fuck are we?
Oh, basta.
It was good that there were two characters because I could do a character and then
Yeah.
Snuff could do a character.
Yeah,
That was amazing.
really good. Yeah.
I think in the future, if you can have characters, that would be very beneficial for us three.
You know, and
think that
then
would be very
sometimes
good.
when we have another, a fourth person on talking.
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
you add 3 characters to it. Add 4. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's,
People
there's-
can take 2 or yeah.
yeah, there can be 4 Helldivers in a squad.
Oh yeah.
We'll have 4.
It's a
We
super
can have
rare
4
way.
Helldivers. Yeah.
We'll make Mike and Lito read as well.
All right, Snuff, do it. You do the honors.
Ship names.
Oh, chills.
It is
I get chills every time.
It is time for the ship names.
I know you wanted to do that so bad.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? I bet you all are jealous now.
I am so jealous.
I mean, what's stopping you? You can do it as well.
Ship names.
There you go. DB, chime in.
Ship names.
So good.
Awesome.
All right then.
I can start it.
Do
Yeah.
it.
We're gonna go Kayata Oricad with the SES Harbinger of Twilight.
Cheer sound. Thank you for your
Thank you for your
service.
Thank you for
service.
service.
So
I-
do you have reason? I have it pulled up on the Discord as well. If you want me to read it.
If he has a reason, yeah, we didn't put that in the little Google Doc. I'd like to
Yeah,
hear
I
the
get
reason.
that. Yeah. Let's see here. Kayata is calling from SES Harbinger of Twilight, named so as a sure sign that my ship's arrival heralds the end of the enemies of democracy. No
Yeah.
matter what conflict or danger, the Harbinger of Twilight will finish the fight.
That's awesome. That's a good name too. I like that.
Yeah.
Harbinger
Oh,
of
yeah.
Twilight. Oh, that is good. And it has a good
Very good name.
meaning and it sounds good.
Yeah,
Man, good
absolutely.
choice.
Love
And
it.
the Kayata, that's his gamer tag? That he made that up?
Yeah.
That sounds like a Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons character name you'd make for your character. It was awesome.
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing.
Alright.
Snuff, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah. The next one is Grimhammer 366 with the SES Dawn of Victory.
Cheer sound. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for the service.
Thank you for your service. He or she, I don't know. I have served Super Earth for almost 5 months and have earned my rank of Viper Commando. Very cool. Very cool.
Very nice. This next one is from Daimo Mando with the SES Mother of War. Cheer sound. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for
Thank
service.
you for your service. See, this is why you are the best reader for these games. Because you can do that voice.
I try. Well, I tried to do warm-ups of double kill.
I also want to note Harbinger of Twilight and Dawn of Victory kind of go together, don't they?
Yeah. Kind of do.
Yeah.
Because the Harbinger of Twilight is just bringing on Twilight to the Dawn of Victory when we win.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
So,
That
yeah,
kinda fits.
so the reason for the name is there's multiple reasons that Daimo chose the name. The first one is that I love Greek mythology, so the mother of war being Athena. The second being that I like to think that my ship is the mother sending her children of chaos to spread freedom and democracy. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
That's so good.
The Mother of War is just pooping out her little baby Helldivers onto the battlefield.
Oh no, don't say that.
Like a brood mother.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
Verti, which is a really short gamer tag, with the SES Sovereign of Judgment.
Woo.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Do you have the reason?
He does not have a reason, but he says, "Let judgment be swift," and I agree.
That's nice.
Well, not always. I like torturing.
That's
them,
You
good.
said lest judgment be swift, or let.
Let's make it painfully slow.
You know why I like that? I like that because you know, in the actual army, each unit, like each battalion, has their own kind of like motto.
Yeah.
And in the game, you can kind of assume each ship is its own like unit, its own battalion or brigade, whatever organization you want. And so the fact that his ship has a motto, I like that. So if you guys have mottos,
that's
in the
really
future,
cool.
let us know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the free of thought title. I think that would be a good motto for my ship.
Be a perfect one. Yeah. And next one is GK Red. I played a couple of matches with him now. Very nice dude. And he comes in from the SES Judge of Justice. Super Earth's prison destroyer for the undemocratic. Here to assist in the operation that may allow Super Earth's incarcerated the opportunity to fight for the freedom or die trying. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
You want to know something that I just thought of?
What's that?
So when he has "Let Judgment Be Swift" as his motto in the army, our motto for our unit was "Straight and Stalwart," just like Lego's favorite machine gun.
It all comes back to the stalwart.
It does. So I think we're on the last one. And what was it? Is it Snuff's turn or Bacon?
It is you.
Oh, is it me?
My turn.
Oh,
No, I
okay.
think it's my turn. Sorry, I want to
One
take
of you.
this. This is from Coffee Cup with the SES Force of Destruction. Cheers, sound. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
The
So,
sole purpose. I'll let you read it.
Yeah, I can read it if you want.
Yes.
Sole purpose of bringing the most destructive capabilities to enemies of Super Earth, cleansing the galaxy of all those who oppose us.
That's so
For
cool.
good reason. So I'm sticking also to the same that Mike and Lito did, and make the no reaction phase when we read the names. So we
To say, yeah, we read it before.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That's a good practice.
Yeah. Thank you for your service, everyone. Hope to see you on your front lines.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. I barely said any words. Thank you for your service. Butter-doo-doo.
Now we're in my territory. We're over
Dun,
my
dun, dun.
favorite section.
Oh yeah, territory
of the
full
podcast.
of mines and gas.
So it's time for the big event that some people already know because I have planned it with them. And it is the Til Valhall, which means to Valhalla. It's the Axe and Shield challenge. So this will be a 14-day long event that will start, I guess, when this podcast episode gets released.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's Axe and Shield. Fight your way to Valhalla. It's the highest total melee kill that gets the victory for this one. You have to supply a screenshot of both your loadout and your kill after this. So you have to take a screenshot of the same mission before you drop in, so I can see that you actually have the Axe and Shield. Because the lance and the stun baton does not count for it. You actually have to use the axe. So there are also two parts to this. The member with the highest total kill will get the title Til Valhall. And if you're up for the challenge, I will salute you and honor you with the entrance to Valhalla if you go the extra length to fully clear a whole map with melee only on Super Helldive. I will welcome you as a true berserker. You are allowed to use an AT weapon for Factory Striders and Bile Titans, but that's it. There's only the ones you're allowed to use AT on, if you're doing the berserker part of the challenge. If you go in with teammates that don't follow the event rules, the melee kill count is the only thing that will count. If you all go melee, however, you can all get the Berserker title. So you can have a full squad, and everyone who managed to fully clear a Super Helldive on bots or bugs, Illuminus doesn't count because there's not enough enemy types for now. So it's a little bit too easy. We want this to be a little bit harder for you guys. So, anyone who managed to do that, I will salute you, shake your hand, and welcome you into the Berserker Club.
Now, is it just me, or do you just get a warm, fuzzy feeling every time Snuff says Berserker? I just like how he says
it's a Norse way of saying berserker.
It really adds to it that you're like, from Norway. It really
does. When I was, I've been writing this for a long time, so I just wanted to stick with the theme. Til Valhall is also the battle cry of the Norwegian Special Forces.
Ooh. We
still use that to this day since the Viking Age, every time we go into battle.
That's so
cool.
We do. We all stand there and chant it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyone who wants to participate, I hope you all do. Try to get both the Berserker title, and all of you fight for that Till Valhalla title as well. Go for it. See you on the front lines.
Very cool.
And you two better join in as well. I want to see both of you with the axe and shield. And I forgot one thing. It has to be the ballistic shield. The other shield doesn't count. That is very important.
It can't be the directional force field.
We will make a description when we start the event, so people can actually read the rules.
It'll be the first
More
time
information
that I call
in
it
the
down
Discord.
as a stratagem, I think.
Sorry, Snuff, but I don't even think I have it unlocked.
Well, you need a teammate then, and he can drop it in for you.
I'll get there. I'll get it.
I will be your fellow berserker.
Perfect.
All right.
Berserker.
Now, are you able to use stratagems? Like, you're not allowed to use like the 500 kg or anything?
No. If you actually want to do the berserker one, you have to do melee clear the mission.
Okay.
So the only AT you can use for the super heavies, so like Factory Strider and Ball Titan, is like a Quasar cannon, a laser cannon, Eat, Commando, those things.
Awesome.
Because this is brawling at its finest. It is a melee challenge.
Crazy. This is a crazy game for them.
Yeah. So I don't want you guys to go in there with orbital 380s and 120s to clear out bases and stuff. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to clear a map by using your wit. Be brawly. Be a berserker.
What if they do a whole campaign? They do 3 missions doing that.
Well, they can do that. You will become a super berserker. But there is only one title that is the berserker, and that is just you have to clear one super Helldive mission, like fully clear. That is side objectives as well. Full clear is side objectives and main mission.
All right, and if you do it for 3, and you do a whole campaign, let us know too. Maybe we'll do something else.
Maybe I'll come up with something if you do that. But if you do that, I would need video of all of it, so I can actually confirm that you did all 3 properly, and didn't switch around to get. You have to like do the 3 missions you have in that actual mission, so you actually help out the planet, you know. Because if you just switch over to another planet and do it, then you just start a new mission.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But full clear, you don't have to clear the bases if you do the full clear. Just side objectives like LiDAR station and main objectives.
Awesome.
So you don't have to run in there and try and axe the fabricator. Because it doesn't work. And if you need help, I'll help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need more information, head to the Discord. They'll get you settled there. If you have any questions, throw it in the channels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of we've gotten to the end of our second. It's kind of our second episode, but it's also our debut episode. But yeah, with that being said, go to the Discord, submit your stories there, submit your ship names. If you have a reason for the ship name, you want to hear it. If you have, a motto for your unit, for your ship, we want to hear that too. Let us know about the community challenges, post your clips and TikToks on the Discord, and play with us. Play with people in the Discord. It's a lot of fun. That's the way we're going to be able to grow, is you join the Discord and play the Helldivers 2 with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything?
I'm sure Snuff will probably be on, and I might be on the weekends. We'll see. We'll see what the wife back on Super Earth thinks, but I'll try.
She can join us.
Awesome. And with that, we still don't have a way to end it. So thank you for listening to Super Earth Podcast. It's been a Helldivers 2 podcast with DB, Snuff, and Bacon.
You're on the front lines.
All Super Earth podcast content is based on the game Helldivers 2, created by Arrowhead Game Studios and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment.